Hello Virgo, welcome or welcome back to my Body and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising signs for the month of, well, what's left of January and February, maybe mid-February 2021. I hope you're well, Virgo. This is a general reading. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it just doesn't. Also check out the other readings for the other signs of yours and have a bigger picture. You might resonate sometimes more with one than the other. 9 of Wands is your current energy, Virgo. Alrighty, let's see what's your challenge. Nice and quick, thank you. 9 of Wands, challenge. Alright, what's your advice? What's the advice for Virgo? Let's see. Okay. 6 of Swords is advice. And what is the future energy? What's this building up towards? 10 of Cups. Beautiful. And a deep message. 2 of Wands as the underlying energy, the theme of your reading. Yes, this is a deep message. I hope I can deliver it properly so it makes sense to you. Let me clarify the cards first. Get a little bit deeper. Why is the 9 of Wands here? So I don't usually do this, but somehow now I feel like it's important to show the first layer. So 2 of Wands shows that you have, like, this is the current energy, no, the underlying energy, the theme of the reading, the theme of this month that you're referring to as you are viewing this, you know, a month from when you're viewing this kind of, time frame. You understand? And the 2 of Wands is telling you that, or it's telling me that you're planning, you're making some choices about your future, about what you want to put your energy in, and your projects and dreams and ideas. The visionary. You're creating the vision right now for yourself. And it's an important one, because the way you envision now your future, it can create alternatives, can create, like, not necessarily repeating the same pattern again, which is a natural tendency for all of us, but to start something different, choose something different. It doesn't need to be a perfect choice. It's just about doing something differently and getting a new perspective and getting a new fresh view of the world that you maybe haven't seen before. And it doesn't need to be always like huge jumps. Sometimes just slightly different things on a daily basis can help a lot. But if you notice patterns in your choice making process, in how you meet people, in how you work, the kind of things that you usually go for, things like this, maybe it's important this month to be like, maybe I choose slightly different. And it's important, especially because I see here the 9 of Wands, and the 9 of Wands can mean a lot of things, but I think it usually talks, like, the core of this card is a person who's been wounded and has been through trial and errors of all kinds, and it's been surviving many things, but it's also guarded and not really giving life a chance anymore. You know, I'm like, okay, I know how things go, and I will defend myself. So this talks actually about the core wound, but you see this core wound is actually at the it's in the mind. It's in the mind. Because the bandage is on it's about the perception of it now, you know. It's about how the wound is there, okay, how do I deal with it though? Am I gonna keep acting from this wound? I'm gonna start addressing it and healing it and hold space for it and so on. But yeah, before we go into this, I'm gonna clarify, because I wanted to say this because I want to see what this wound is about, and I didn't want to make it sound like biased. I wanted to come up later. Okay, let's see what this wound is about. Where is this? What are the aspects of your life or of your being, of your personality is mainly affected. Ooh la la la. Ten of Swords. Okay, so obviously it's around the ego. As I said, it is in the mind. It's about oh, it's a death of the ego. It's a death of a way you used to identify yourself with. Oh God. Okay, one more card, please. Mother wound. Mother wound. I think it has to do with the relationship with your mom and how you like your relationship with the archetype of mother as well. What is supposed to be a good mother? How could my mother been a better mother? Or maybe you think she was a great mother, and then you start realizing that some things she did maybe weren't the most inspired. Whichever way of this story goes, you start questioning that story, and the story needs to be changing. And what's challenging for you is the Knight of Wands being, the expansion of your awareness and your belief system, allowing your beliefs to grow and to change. And obviously, it's not easy because there's something that you carry deep within yourself that you've been protecting for a long time, or you've been hurt in that way so many times, and you've created so many stories around it from a very young age, like, okay, if I'm not being treated in a certain way, let's say my mom is cold or is rejecting me or is abusing me or is doing this or is doing that, all kinds of things, then we start feeling that we are unlovable. Because ultimately, if you really look down at how things go down within ourselves, we don't stop loving our caretakers or our parents that hurt us. We stop loving ourselves, because when we are at the age of, like, between the 0 to 5, they are our sole authority, and the way they treat us and they treat each other, this is how we learn to treat ourselves. And if with the conclusion that we take with that very young mind is that I'm not loved, then I cannot or don't know how to love myself. And even if relationships with parental figures can change a lot in time, and maybe we become resentful, maybe we go into rebelling and fighting, we still somehow keep that inner authority of, like, that there's something wrong with us at a very deep level. But you see, that's the thing. That happens at mind level, that happens at belief system level, and it's important to learn and to learn to access those parts of yourself that believe that. You may not believe this with, like, your very rational mind of the adult self, but with a much older part of yourself, which is still registering and still existing at a level within yourself, in your psyche, in your body, in your all that. And why is the Knight of Wands here as challenge? Eight of Cups, congruent with this. The Knight of Wands says, hey, we are gonna go out there and we're gonna explore different meanings, different belief system, different worlds, expand the truth, learn the real deeper truth, not just the truth that I've been told or fed as a vulnerable child. And the Eight of Cups is also this, like, going outside of your comfort zone and going to look for the Ninth Cup, the wish fulfillment, the thing that can expand your emotional awareness and free you from a loop. Eights are loops, and free you from that loop of, like, the same emotional pattern again and again and again. Well, of course it's challenging, but you see, like, the advice that comes with it, Six of Swords. Six of Swords is really all about it's about mind over emotion in this case. It's not necessarily always the case. There's bottom down processing and bottom up processing. No, top down processing and bottom up processing. There are many ways of approaching therapy, and I think they're all important. In this case, I think it's really identifying those belief systems, those internalized beliefs that where you still hold that story that you're somehow not lovable enough or not good enough, or if it's the other way around, let's say that your mother was not necessarily abusive, or you didn't perceive her as such, or she was there for you and she was the perfect mother, that, or your expectation of a perfect mother, your idea of a perfect mother, but then you realize that maybe this smothered you in a way, or maybe you realize that she's never really held stood up for herself, or that she was codependent, or that she was living through you and putting too much pressure on you, or these kind of things, that we start learning, even though we look back and like, okay, whoa, I seem to have a very normal, perfect childhood. We start uncovering how these certain things leave wounds in us, and we need to go about and work with them and heal them and reparent ourselves. And it's not that our parents or caretakers were bad people, or that we you can't get it right fully ever. We're all gonna make mistakes, and yes, some of us have a tougher experiences than others, and some of us have the luck to actually experience love in our childhood. Some of us really don't, and there will be a moment of growth, and there will be a moment of forgiveness, and there will be a moment of like, and that includes a lot in between: anger, rebellion, pain, so on, so on, so on. But this is part of a healing process, and then eventually you have this power of realizing that, hey, those that mindset that is created from those deep internalized beliefs are not the real thing. I don't need to believe them anymore. And six are talking about mind, like souls talk about mind, but six is emotional energy. So this will affect your emotion. It will be a letting go. Will be a moving on from a dark place. From a dark place where you had to defend yourself, where you had to, maybe fight ruthlessly in order to survive. And that fight is being internalized. Okay, let's add one more. Why is the Six of Swords here? Judgment and Son of Swords. You see, Son of Swords, they're knights. The knights talk about expansion. It's expansion of the realm, expansion of the mind, expansion of the. All knights actually refer to mind energy according to the karmic tarot. And yes, swords is also mind energy, so it's mind over mind here. It's double mind, double trouble. You're expanding, you're being called to expand your belief system and to see where you've been trapped in these like stories, and you're called to let go of those stories completely. The judgment is rebirth. The judgment is when we being able to take a zoom out and have like an overall view and an assessment without judging. Funny, right? The name. As necessarily I did something wrong, or did something wrong, or look at all these people did all this shit to me. It's more about, okay, I understand now what I can do differently. If I carry, for example, a mother wound, and that will reflect a lot in the relationship I find myself in on a daily basis as an adult. You know, I will repeat the same relationship patterns. If I learn codependency, I will most likely be codependent. If I learn avoidance, or if my mother has been smothering me a lot, I might actually end up being avoidant because I'd never had boundaries and the mother was like always into my life, too close. If the mother was abusive, I might end up being what's the attachment style? The both anxious and avoidant. There's another name for it, where you know we need to be need somebody for co-regulation, but then we can't because the same person that used to show love also showed aggression and abused us and things like this. If your mother was, for example, I don't know, dominant, you get the idea, you get the story, right? Like however your relationship with your mother affected you, you will see that same pattern in your relationships and in the way you're be treating yourself. And now you have a proper chance, because you've probably putting in a lot of work with the Ten of Swords here, and you start seeing the end of this. Like you start seeing what the story that you were caught yourself in was, and it's time to, you're ready to surrender it. You're ready to let go, and now you have the chance to completely revisit everything and make a change. So that's a big thing. I mean, these changes can't be forced. These changes happen when we actually had enough reflection time, when we've done enough work, whether that means therapy, self-reflection, ta 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 ta, and you are ready. You're ready, Virgo. You've got this. And you see where this is going. This is going in the most amazing place, the Ten of Cups. Why is the Ten of Cups here? Again, I don't usually read this way. I find it interesting that this is how it came up this time, and kind of going with it. I hope it makes sense to you. Usually I pull out the clarifiers before I start reading. This Son of Wands and this from this deck particular keeps coming up, and it's a beautiful expansive energy, and it's the same Knight of Wands here, and bottom of the deck is the Seven of Pentacles to go along with this Two of Wands. You see, this is taking you to this point of like finally being able to visualize a new future, a new way of being into the world, where we don't need to repeat the same patterns, where we don't need to be in the same type of pain, and we don't see the relationships that we start having the same characteristics again and again and again, and we're seeing ourselves suffering in the same way. You're able to visualize and to create a new version of what works for you, and in your mind is expanding, your universe is expanding, and you're able to not just function from negativity bias or from confirmation bias. God damn it, the sound outside, sorry about that. I hope you can still hear me. And the Seven of Wands here with this Pentacles with the Two of Wands here telling me that yeah, it's a period of assessment. It's a period of assessment. It's a period of growth. It's a period where you're planting out new crops. You're replanting. It's that harvest time where you take some out and then you replant. I don't know exactly how how planting works of crops and things. All I know is that there is at some point a time where you can you do the first harvest, and you can keep some of the fruits, and then for the next year or something like that, or for the next phase, I'm not really sure. Probably I shouldn't talk about it since I don't know, but well, then you can replant some of them, or you can see, okay, I've been planting this, do I like how they come out? No, maybe let's try this, and so on. You do have an opportunity to do something different, because you see the pattern, because you see the wound, because you see where the wound is, because you see how the stories do not serve you anymore, and you know what it's about, you know what's really at the core, the mother wound, and how you can see how it's been affecting your reality and your relationships, and you have now the possibility to access that inner child of yours and rewrite the story. the story that there was never anything wrong with you, and that it's not that you did anything wrong or you did something to deserve any of this. This is simply your learning curve, your healing journey, your understanding for yourself that you are perfect and divine just as you are. And all the aspects of yourself that you don't like, you learn to not like them. And the crazy behaviors that we can sometimes come up with to cope are just that, coping mechanisms. And they can be let go of much easier because we don't identify with them. Okay, let's see what's the Rumi Oracle saying around all this. It's a big thing though. I really think this is a very important process that you're going through, Virgo, and it's gonna be very helpful. It's rewriting the story of what happiness can look like for you, and it's growing your mind, and it's not bypassing, it's learning. Sacred Phoenix Heart. Beautiful. No. Okay. If you have to. Sacred Phoenix Heart, I think it's congruent with this what is perceived as this death of the ego, this death of like stop identifying with a certain story. But let me read so it makes more sense to you. Number 21, Sacred Phoenix Heart. There you are. Okay, so the poem from Rumi says, under the cover of blood, love veils many rose gardens. In total faith, love tenderly guides every lover to the garden of the heart. Reason says, the world is limited in 6 directions. There is no way out. Love says, there is a way, and I have traveled it many times. Rumi. Love guides us through travails that seem improbable, if not impossible. It does not shy away from any challenge, from any cause. It cannot. It's just love's way. Love says to us there is always another way. You are receiving this guidance now. Perhaps you are scratching your head quizzically, or are in deepest despair because you appear to have met a dead end, a frowning no, or a dismissive laugh upon your quest to bring love alive. So then, do you choose to believe in love or in the death of sorts your heart faces? Your heart shall rally. I choose death because that is the portal to new life. And so it is wise, you see, but you must be brave. To be burnt in love, by love, for love, will involve endurance of pain, but it will also place it in context. It is the shorter pain that is not compounded by erroneous thinking. Yes. Sorry. That pain comes and goes quite quickly when you realize that love is simply playfully smacking your wrist and saying, not that way, beloved. There are great pitfalls on that path. Come, take this one, where there shall be wine and dancing. So you are guided to accept the closed doors, the death, the pain, and to let it become tinder for your fire. Cry whatever tears need to be cried, so your tinder can be dry and ready to create the sparks your heart needs. That sacred phoenix, ready to die into your life within you, is hungry for the fire. Let it feast so it can fulfill its potential, its divine destiny, and become born again into new form, more divinely aligned and alive than ever before. This oracle comes with a message for you. You may feel as though you have been wandering in a desert for many years with no oasis in sight. You might have been through darkness, through trials, endured confusion and uncertainty as you sought for your truth, sought divine revelation, and sought your purpose to confirm your plans. Seek no more. The answers are now given or soon will be, And the life, the passion, the purpose, it will all come to you in clarity. Does life feel, does life need to be grasped for? It is bestowed according to grace and destiny. It need not be sought so much as received. The spiritual destiny that calls your soul, even whilst you may feel your bodily ears are deaf to the call, makes your heart leap. It is as though hearing the beloved's voice and stirring an ancient memory of love so powerful moves you, even without you necessarily understanding how or why. So let life come to you. Be prepared to let the old versions of your life pass away into the new life now being born. This is death, that death that is they're talking about. And this is moving away from all that, the Eight of Cups and the Six of Swords. And this is that rebirth that we've been talking about. Whew. Yes, very on point. Thank you, Rumi and Alana Fairchild. So, okay. What does this mean? It means letting go of your striving, your opinions, your doubts, your despairs, and your fears. Life wants to happen through you, blazing angel. You don't have to do much other than get out of your own way. Love is your nature. Let it flourish, and life shall unfold accordingly. This oracle brings a particular message regarding divine timing, that oh so significant factor in our dreams coming to life. Your time is fast approaching. It may even be now. It may seem least likely to you. There may be great darkness or confusion, and yet the unveiling of the new dawn is closest to the deepest darkness of night. Do not turn back or away from your progress. Your very next step shall be upon hallowed ground, rendered golden by the rays of the rising sun. That's a great message. Yeah. Take that, Virgo. Okay, sacred honoring ritual. Yeah, check in with yourself. If you want to do it, go for it. If not, just let it go. So, for those that are interested, place your hands on your heart and say, this sacred phoenix heart is blessed. Through every loss, every grief and sadness, every mourning, this heart grows strong, ready to ignite into new life, into the dance that is not the funeral procession, but the rite of spring. This heart is ready to leap with new life, to be infused with the joy of innocence and the passion of deepest devotion. How I trust my heart to lead me, but guided by the inner voice of love, through all that could possibly be. I am safe. This heart knows the way, and I follow it faithfully now, into the light of a new day. Through sacred grace, so be it. And hence you finished your ritual. Alright, my dear Virgo, this could easily be about a breakup or moving away from certain relationships. It's a tough time, but this message comes with a lot of hope. Like you are ready, you really are ready to move on, and you see you moving on towards something, a different type of beauty. Don't hold on to the old stories. All right. I hope you resonate with this message. If you do, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and so on. Yeah, may our practice benefit all beings. See you here next month.